You know, right at the turn of the 20th century, while scientists were freaking out about new discoveries like X-rays and radioactivity, a quiet librarian in New York City was busy drafting a theory of everything. And it was, well, incredibly ambitious. It was this amazing vision of vibrating planes, cosmic atoms, and a universe that was built on pure harmony. A vision that, sadly, was almost completely lost to history.
So just imagine this for a second. You dedicate your entire life to this grand, beautiful vision of the cosmos, only to be met with complete silence. For 2 decades. That was the reality for Thomas E. Willson, the man behind this whole thing. So what was this incredible idea that he held on to so passionately, even when absolutely no one would listen?
All right, first up, a librarian's cosmic vision. Before we dive into the wild physics of it all, we gotta start with the man himself. Because honestly, his story is just as fascinating as his theory.
So our main character here isn't some big-shot university professor. Nope, he's a quiet librarian working way up high in the New York World Building, which was like one of the busiest spots on the entire planet. And it was from right there, looking out over the city, that T.E. Willson came up with his ideas about the very fabric of reality itself.
Now, to really get what Willson was doing, you have to kind of transport yourself back to his time. Physicists were absolutely obsessed with this idea of the ether, this invisible, all-pervading stuff that they believed carried light waves through the emptiness of space. And this concept, the ether, was basically the launchpad for Willson's entire framework.
Okay, part 2, the 4 planes of matter. See, Willson took this idea of the ether and he just ran with it. He didn't stop there. He expanded it into this much grander vision of reality built on what he called 4 distinct planes, or cosmic octaves.
And you can really see his huge conceptual leap right here on this slide. Mainstream physics back then was focused on physical matter, the stuff you can touch, and this brand new idea of the ether. Willson, who was clearly inspired by Eastern philosophy, took those 2 but said, hey, those are just the bottom 2 rungs of a much bigger ladder. He proposed 2 higher, finer planes of matter, prana, which he called the source of life, and manasa, the source of mind.
So, let's break these down. First, at the very bottom, you have prakriti. This is the stuff we all know and love, right? The solid, liquid, and gas that makes up our physical world. For Willson, this was simply reality vibrating at its lowest, slowest, most dense frequency.
Go 1 octave higher, and you get ether. This is a much finer substance, vibrating, he said, trillions of times faster. And this is the source of all physical energy. We're talking everything from the light from a candle to the heat of the sun. But here, this is where he completely leaves conventional physics in the dust. The next octave up is prana. Vibrating at an even higher frequency, this substance, he claimed, wasn't just about energy. It was the fundamental plane of matter that was responsible for the phenomenon of life itself. And finally, at the very highest octave of the material universe, we find manasa. This is the finest, most rarefied substance of all. And according to Willson, it's from the vibrations of this plane that all consciousness, all thought, and all mind comes from. Okay, next section, the universe in an atom. So we've got these 4 totally distinct planes of matter, but how do they actually interact with each other? Well, Willson's answer to that is where his theory becomes really elegant. The key to his entire system is this ancient principle, as above, so below. He truly believed that the grand architecture of the entire cosmos, across all 4 of those planes, was perfectly duplicated in the structure of one single tiny atom. And here's what that looks like. For Willson, an atom isn't just a physical speck. It has a prakriti core, sure, but that core is surrounded by an atmosphere of ether. And then, wrapped around that is an envelope of prana. And on the very outside, you have an atmosphere of manasa. So every single atom is a complete 4-layered universe in miniature. Just wild. So here's the crucial point, the real kicker. Things like energy, life, and mind, they aren't separate things at all. They pop into existence when these different planes vibrate in harmony, just like a musical chord. So when prakriti and ether vibrate together, boom, you get energy. Add prana into that mix, and you get life. He called that the silver chord. And when all 4 planes vibrate in perfect unison, you get mind, the golden chord.
Next up, globes within globes. We've seen the 4-fold structure of the tiny atom. Now, remember that as above, so below principle? We're about to apply it to the largest scale you can possibly imagine, the cosmos itself. Get ready for this, because this is where the theory gets truly mind-bending. Willson proposed that the entire universe is structured exactly like his fourfold atom, as a series of nested globes, one inside the other.
Let's start right here, at home. The prakritic globe is just our physical Earth. It's the densest layer, floating like a little island in a vast, unseen ocean of ether.
Okay, now let's zoom out. Our entire solar system with the sun at its core. Willson didn't see it as a bunch of planets in empty space. He saw it as a single, massive globe of ether. And this whole etheric globe, in turn, is floating within the next medium up, the plane of prana.
Zooming out again. Our solar system is just one of many, and all of them are revolving around the star Alcyon. And this entire cluster of stars, according to Willson, makes up an even bigger entity, a stellar globe of prana.
And now, for the final, ultimate zoom out. All of those pranic star systems, they themselves are contained within the final structure, a cosmic globe of Manasa. This is it. This is Willson's final view, the entire material universe as a single, vast, all-encompassing, mind-like entity.
So, what does this all add up to? Part 5. A unified reality. Willson's grand cosmology. It paints this picture of a profoundly interconnected reality, where the smallest atom and the entire cosmos are built on the exact same fourfold principle. So let's just pull this all together for a second. The core idea is that reality isn't just one thing, it's 4 vibrating planes of matter. The real key is that every single atom is a perfect microcosm of the whole shebang, containing all 4 planes. And this means that these big concepts like energy, life, and even mind, they aren't separate forces. They're just harmonies, chords being played across these planes. And the ultimate takeaway is a universe where nothing is really separate. Everything is fundamentally connected.
You know, Willson argued that the physical world we see, it isn't even the primary reality. As he says in his quote, it's merely a shadow cast by these deeper, invisible planes. The unseen worlds of ether, prana, and manasa are what truly govern everything that we experience.
And this brings us to one last really provocative thought. This quiet librarian's theory, even though it was forgotten, was such a bold attempt to map the unseen. Whether he was right or wrong, that's kind of beside the point. His life's work really forces us to ask a question that's as relevant today as it was in his lonely office back in 1901. What if reality has way more layers than we can possibly perceive?